Some people think talent is something you're just born with, but in the Bible, talent was always more than raw skill. It was a divine seed that had to be grown. Through deserts, palaces, prisons, and prayer closets, ordinary people became extraordinary. In this countdown, we're uncovering the 12 most talented people in the Bible, what made them gifted, how they developed their skills, and how you can grow yours too. She wasn't known, she wasn't rich, but Mary carried one of the greatest callings in history, and a gift to match faith-filled surrender. When the angel said she'd carry the Son of God, she didn't run. She said, "Let it be to me according to your word." That's spiritual maturity. But where did that come from? Mary had depth. Her famous song in Luke chapter 1 reveals she knew scripture deeply. Her words echoed Hannah's prayer from 1 Samuel. She had grown in quiet devotion long before she stepped into greatness. Lesson: faith is a gift, but depth comes from a lifestyle of stillness and surrender. He called down fire from heaven, raised the dead, shook kings. But Elijah's gift wasn't just power, it was spiritual authority rooted in total dependence on God. He learned obedience in isolation, fed by ravens at the brook, trusting God during famine, hiding in caves, listening for God in the whisper, not just the storm. This kind of boldness was forged in stillness, in trust, in quiet confidence. Lesson: the loudest fire often comes from the quietest faith. You may not know his name, but Bezalel was the Bible's first creative director. God filled him with the Spirit to design the ark, the tabernacle, and sacred objects with gold, silver, embroidery, and detail. He was skilled in woodwork, stone cutting, metal shaping, but it wasn't just talent, it was Spirit-led excellence. He likely learned his craft in Egypt, but it was in the wilderness that God activated it for holy purpose. Lesson: creativity is sacred, and when you surrender your craft to God, it becomes more than skill, it becomes worship. Esther had beauty, but her real gift was strategic courage. She understood timing, she understood people, and she understood how to move with wisdom under pressure. Before she approached the king, she fasted and prayed. She didn't rush, she waited, hosted 2 banquets, and then made her request. That wisdom saved an entire nation. Lesson: boldness is a gift. But when paired with timing and wisdom, it becomes world-changing. Deborah wasn't just a judge, she was a prophet, a military strategist, a songwriter, and a spiritual mother. People came from far and wide to sit under her palm tree for counsel. Why? Because she carried heavenly wisdom. When Barak hesitated to go to war, she didn't panic, she partnered, she prophesied, and after the victory she wrote a national anthem of praise. Lesson: real leadership isn't just commanding armies, it's nurturing destinies. Moses had raw leadership potential, raised in Pharaoh's palace, educated in the best schools, but his real development began in the desert. After fleeing Egypt, he spent 40 years tending sheep. That's where pride was broken, patience was formed, obedience was tested. At the burning bush, God reignited his purpose, and from there he became a deliverer, a lawgiver, a miracle worker, and the writer of the Torah. Lesson: the desert is not the end of your story, it might be the beginning of your calling. Daniel was brilliant, trained in Babylon, wise beyond his years. But what truly set him apart was discipline. 3 times a day, every day he prayed, even when it was illegal. God gave him the ability to interpret dreams, influence kings, and see the future. But that gift was protected by his unshakable commitment to God. Lesson: wisdom grows in consistency, and consistency is a talent too. Joseph had a dream. Then he was betrayed, sold, enslaved, imprisoned, and forgotten, but he never stopped using his gift. Even in prison he interpreted dreams. Even in pain he managed people with integrity. When Pharaoh called, Joseph was ready. His gift had matured through suffering, his leadership was forged in isolation, and when the famine came, he saved nations. Lesson: don't despise your detour. That might be where your gift grows up. Paul was intense. Before Jesus, he hunted Christians. After Jesus, he became the most influential apostle of the New Testament. He didn't just preach, he reasoned. He didn't just write, he poured out his soul in letters that still guide us today. He took years in Arabia to relearn everything. He studied, traveled, debated, mentored, and suffered. His mind was sharp, but his heart burned even brighter. Lesson: God can transform your passion and repurpose your past. Solomon didn't just inherit a kingdom, he inherited a prayer life. And when God asked what he wanted, he asked for wisdom. That hunger opened the floodgates. Solomon studied nature, wrote thousands of proverbs, judged fairly, built the temple, and attracted leaders from around the world. His wisdom came from asking, seeking, listening, and observing. Lesson? The wisest people are the ones who keep asking questions. Before he was a king, David was just a boy with a sling and a secret weapon: consistency in the quiet. Out in the fields, forgotten by his family, David spent years guarding sheep, and while everyone else saw it as small, he saw it as sacred. He practiced with his sling, not for fame but for faithfulness. He killed lions and bears when no one was watching. So when Goliath showed up, that wasn't David's first giant, it was just the first one with a crowd. He wrote over 70 psalms, some in caves, some on hillsides, songs of pain, songs of praise, songs that still heal hearts today. Lesson? The secret place is where public victories are born. Jesus didn't just have gifts. He was the gift. He taught with authority. He healed with compassion. He lived with purpose. But even Jesus grew in wisdom and stature. He waited 30 years before starting his public ministry. He fasted. He studied scripture. He prayed all night. He walked in step with the Father every day, and then he gave everything. He poured his life out in love, obedience, humility, and truth. The greatest teacher, the greatest sacrifice, the greatest gift. Lesson? The highest talent is a heart fully surrendered. These weren't superheroes. They were people just like you, flawed, afraid, and figuring it out. But they nurtured their gifts. They trusted God. They didn't quit. So what about you? What's your sling, your song, your scroll? Grow your gift, guard it, give it, and watch what God can do with a life that says yes. God bless you as you like, share, and subscribe to Gospel HQ+. You are gifted, you are chosen, and your story is just beginning. Go out and use your God-given gift.